Most mothers don't lose their spark. They just stop living in alignment with how God created and wired their mind. Hi, I'm Mona. I'm a Faroese mother of 3 kids, 4 years and under, and I teach mothers how to master their mindset and finally feel like themselves again and better. I used to live in constant mental fog, forgetting everything, overstimulated, and I was scrolling and scrolling and scrolling way too much than I like to admit. It felt like my brain just didn't work anymore. But once I understood how my mind was designed and created by God through neuroscience, through slow living, through movement, and then also through these 8 intelligences that I'm about to share with you, my spark came back. I'm pulling this from Dr. Howard Gardner, a Harvard psychologist who wrote the book Frames of Mind. He discovered that humans aren't meant to fit into one intelligence box. He thinks that we all carry a different blend. And when I learned this, everything in my motherhood journey truly shifted. And today, I want your spark to come back as well. Today, we're going to break down these 8 intelligences, not school intelligences, but the way your brain naturally thrives, and how as mothers life feels heavier or lighter depending on if we live in or out of alignment with our dominant intelligences. In motherhood, we work on tasks that touch on all different kinds of intelligences, but when we work all day from our weak zones, which isn't our core intelligences, we feel mental fog, we feel drained and overwhelmed. When you honor your strengths, your spark will return and everything will kind of feel a little bit easier. These 8 intelligences will explain why some tasks completely drain you and while others, they actually rejuvenate you. Motherhood forces us into roles that we're not wired for. And that's often when we think there is something wrong with us. Have you ever felt that before where you ask, what is wrong with my brain? What's wrong with me? I have asked that multiple times, even this week. But let me tell you this, nothing is wrong with you. You are just operating outside of your God-given wiring. Now we're going to go through all of the intelligences. So listen closely. Which one are you? Number 1, linguistic intelligence, aka the communicator mom. The way a communicator mom thinks is through words and journaling and talking and teaching. And this is how it looks like in motherhood. She processes feelings by talking them out. She loves reading out loud for her children. She explains things clearly, chores, routines, and boundaries. She writes lists, morning pages, long texts to friends. So essentially, she likes to communicate or express herself with her words, either by talking or by writing it down. This is where you may lose your spark if this is you. When you don't have adult conversations for many days, and as a stay-at-home mom, we know this very well. After we've been talking to our children days in and days out, and we feel like we really need some stimulation for our brain to talk to adults. Constant interruptions to when she speaks. This also happens in motherhood, right? Even when you have a thought, we get interrupted all the time by our children. And then the last one is she's feeling overstimulated to even really finish a sentence. This is how you can thrive if this is you. Take a sheet of paper or a journal and write your thoughts out. Whenever you can do this, I understand if you don't have much time during the day because I've got 3 little kids all the time to take care of, and you probably do too. So it's just important to get your thoughts out. I like to do this very early morning when just me and the baby is up, and I like to read the Bible, and then I also try to write a couple sentences out. This is partially me. I assume that there's a lot of mothers that feel this is you because we can be parts of many intelligences. So I feel like there's a lot of women, especially, that really like to get their thoughts out to friends and down on paper or to talk out loud. So this is how you will thrive if this is you. Just write a couple sentences down. Whatever comes to mind, just get it out. And it doesn't have to be a whole book. It can just be a couple sentences while I'm reading the Bible. And then speaking declarations or scriptures out loud, getting that out that you have upon your heart. And then a voice note to a friend is just wonderful, isn't it? I usually take a little moment and I do a ton of voice notes to many of my friends, and I just ask them how they're doing or if I have a thought. I like to share it just to put it into words. It helps so much. And then this last part is the scrolling is really taking away our joy. And instead of doing that, then read something instead. Read a page, or Substack is a wonderful platform if you prefer the digital platforms. But I mean, we all have books in our house. If we can read one page, it immediately refuels us. Number 2, logical, mathematical, the systems mom. If you are the systems mom, this is how you think. You like order, you like structure, and you like processes. This is how it looks like in motherhood. She thrives with routines and predictable rhythms. She organizes the diaper bag the same way every single time. She meal preps, time blocks, and love planners. She breaks problems into steps, and this is when she loses her spark. There's too many moving parts in a day. There is no routine. Their kids are sick, and everything is kind of thrown off, and constant mental load with no clear plan. And this is how she thrives. One simple weekly rhythm, one visual schedule, a 3-item to-do list instead of a messy brain dump, and automating repetitive tasks. Now, I feel like this is kind of all moms where it's just chaos. You almost cannot help having chaos when you have a lot of little kids around you and when you're a stay-at-home mom. But this really helps, I think, many mothers. So if this is your primary intelligence or your core intelligence, then this is very important for you. When it comes to myself, this is kind of important, but I'm kind of okay without too many strict plans. So therefore, I know that this is not my primary intelligence. But I really do think that a lot of mothers feel more clear-headed when there is at least a rhythm in the house. If this is really interesting so far, then I have a workbook for you called The Calling Code, which is specifically where you can take a test and basically test yourself to see what kind of mother you are and what kind of intelligence you have and how to thrive with that. I will link it right below, and it's called The Calling Code. Number 3, spatial intelligence, aka the visual/creative mom. And this is how she thinks in images and design, in aesthetics and environments. And this is what it looks like in motherhood. She notices beauty instantly. She gets a rush of awe every time she notices beauty. And she creates cozy corners and rearranges furnitures, and she loves Pinterest, and maybe she gets a project for the house that she really wants to do. That corner would look wonderful like that. Do you know those people? Is that you? She organizes toys by color or size, or organizes books by the colors or by the names. She likes to take pictures that are beautiful and aesthetic. This is where she loses her spark. The house is messy. It's a bomb. The laundry piles are just piling up everywhere around her. A lot of visual noise is mental noise for her, and she feels off, but she doesn't really know why when everything is cluttered. And this is how she thrives. 1, decluttered surface. It's instant relief. 5 minutes resetting one room, instant relief. And then fresh flowers that are beautiful, and a tidy kitchen island, immediately relief. And again, don't we all love when we have either cleaned or tidied a space? We all feel better. But again, like, I am in an office right now and it's really cluttered, and I'm looking outside of my office and I just see winter jackets and boots and books, and I'm like, I mean, I'm okay. So I know that this is not 100% me. Does that make sense? So I'm just trying to kind of help you figuring out where you belong. We are a little bit of everything because, like I said before, becoming a mother, we are thrown into different roles immediately. And we therefore have to try and be okay, or at least a little bit good at all of those roles. But we don't necessarily thrive in all of those roles. Number 4, bodily kinesthetics, aka the movement mom. This is how she thinks. She thinks through movement and through action and through touch. And this is what it looks like in motherhood. She processes emotions by moving, by lifting, by stretching, by walking. She's the mom who perhaps dances in the kitchen while she's making food. And she needs fresh air to think. She likes to go on walks or runs or just outside and move a little bit in order to think clearly. And then she prefers doing over talking. And this is when she loses her spark. When she's stuck indoors with toddlers. And hold up, I know all moms, we like to go outside because we know that we feel better and our toddlers feel better. So again, this is for everyone. But at the same time, I do know some mothers who are very fine with being inside indoors and don't have as much of a need to go outside as others. And then I do know the moms that just need to be outside constantly and all the time. And I would view myself as one of those moms as well. And then she loses her spark also when there is no time to work out. And she loses her spark when there's just days of sitting, feeding, rocking, perhaps again when you have a sick child, or if you have a newborn and the newborn isn't doing that well. Maybe if they are crying a lot and you have to kind of be inside, that really affects her spark. And then where the body feels used but not really expressed. And if you know, you kind of know. And this is also in the newborn stage. I remember when I had a 1-year-old and a newborn, so I felt a lot of kids on me all the time. So I was very used, for good, with the kids. But at the same time, I wasn't able to use my body to go for a walk, to express myself and so on. And I really, that was my lowest point, where I had so much within me, so much energy, but I couldn't express it in a good way for myself. For the kids I could, but not for myself and my soul. But this is how she thrives. Just a 10-minute walk is suddenly instant reset for her mind. 20 squats while the kids play, and a couple of push-ups and maybe some ab works while the kids are playing around her, while they're doing the same thing as her. Instant relief. While you're carrying the baby in a wrap and you want to go outside and just get some fresh air, you walk around, get the sun on your face, and just maybe a little bit of stretching. Instant relief. And then anything that reconnects her to her body is immediately, yes, the spark is back, baby. Number 5, musical intelligence, aka the rhythm mom. This is how she thinks. Tone, sound, rhythm, and vibe. What this looks in motherhood, she uses music to shift moods. She has playlists for cleaning, for bedtime, for mornings, and other things as well. A workout playlist perhaps as well. She hums, taps, or sings naturally throughout the day, and then she feels atmosphere through sound. This is when she loses her spark. The house is too loud, so that means it's overstimulated. And then also when there's the wrong kind of noises, like something is beeping, someone is crying, chaos, toys, and then silence that feels heavy and not restful. And this is how she thrives. With a little bit of background worship music where you can move a little bit, and then a slow, calm playlist, and turning off the TV, and rhythms and routines that are synced with sound cues. And maybe she makes up songs for the kids whenever they have to change or go potty or take a bath. Immediately when she sings, she feels relieved and she feels better, and that spark is starting again. Number 6, interpersonal intelligence, aka the people mom. And this is how she thinks. People, relationships, and connection, and presence. And this is what it looks like in motherhood. She is energized by adult conversations. She reads people really well. She knows the moods of her kids, and she knows her husband's needs. She kind of knows what everyone around her really needs and what they're trying to say. When there's too much isolation, when she hasn't seen people in a long time or had that really deep connection with friends, family, and just people in general. And also when no one really talks to her about her inner world, when she's not able to express and to talk to people about the deeper stuff. And this is how she thrives. One coffee with a friend does wonder. When she has play dates with conversations built in, a little bit of a phone call to friends or family that immediately rises her spirits and her spark, and then being around uplifted and grounded people. Number 7, intrapersonal intelligence, aka the deep thinker mom. And this is how she thinks. She thinks internally, she thinks privately, and she thinks reflectively. And this is what it looks like in motherhood. She really needs pockets of solitude to really feel like herself. And she analyzes, reflects, and plans and dreams a lot within here. She processes internally rather than talking out loud. She is spiritual, introspective, and she's also slow and calm. And this is when she loses her spark. When there is zero silence all day, when there's overstimulation from noise and chaos throughout the day, and when there's no time really to think or breathe or just finish a sentence inside of her own brain, and when her inner life feels flattened. And this is how she thrives. A quiet 10-minute reset does wonders to this mom. When she reads scripture before she goes on her phone, a calm morning before the kids wake up, when she's able to go solo on errands and able to sit outside by herself in the quiet. Number 8, naturalistic intelligence, aka the nature mom. And this is how she thinks. Through creation, seasons, outdoors, and through grounding. What does this look like in motherhood? She feels alive outside. Nature truly resets her. She loves walks, sunshine, water, and wind. She notices birds, trees, and weather changes as well. And she calms down instantly outside. And this is when she loses her spark. When there's too many days inside, when there's no sunlight, no grounding or fresh air, and disconnected from real sensory experiences. And this is how she thrives. She loves touching the grass or the sand, walking by the water, hearing the water, opening windows and letting in fresh air, and daily outdoor micro adventures with the kids is her absolute favorite. So here are all of the intelligences in a single snapshot. Linguistic needs words. Logical needs order. Spatial needs beauty plus clarity. Kinesthetic needs movement. Musical needs sound regulation. Interpersonal needs connection. Intrapersonal needs quiet. Naturalistic needs nature. Here's the easiest way to find out what your top intelligences are. I want you to ask yourself these questions. When during the day do I feel most like myself? What restores me fastest when I feel overwhelmed? What drains me instantly? What did I love as a child? What part of my day feels effortless? Your top 2 to 3 intelligences will reveal themselves immediately after you answer these questions. So now that you have kind of found your 2 to 3 intelligences, you could hear also when I was talking about them that I saw myself in many of them, not all of them, but in many of them. So you should kind of feel the same way, and it's quite normal to have multiple intelligences. And then you may ask, okay, well, how can I use the knowledge of this to reclaim my spark? And I have got the answer for you, friend. When your daily life aligns with your God-designed intelligences, you truly come alive. Your spark comes back. And isn't that what we want? We want that spark that perhaps has been sleeping and has been buried under diapers and under just snacks and a lot of laundry and dishes and other things that come with motherhood. We want that spark back. And I have felt this for a while until I truly honed in on getting it back and being very intentional on how I did it. And that's why I want you to understand these things too, so you can come on to this beautiful journey to get that spark back. It's so important because when we lose this spark, the whole house will feel it. Our kids will feel it, our husbands will feel it, and it's not just about them, but we just feel meh, just meh. And I was just so sick of feeling meh. And I'm sure you feel the same way. So let's get into how we can use this to our benefit. If you are a linguistic or communicator mom, if God wired you through words, then touch words daily. Journal 5 minutes a day, read scriptures out loud, send one thoughtful voice note to a friend or record it. Just get your thoughts out with your words. This reactivates clarity and connection. If you're a logical mathematical systems mom, if you thrive in structure, then you need to build one micro system, a 2-bin toy rotation, a laundry rhythm, a bedtime flow chart. Tiny order creates internal peace for you. And then if you're a visual mom, if you think in pictures, reset one visual space. A cozy reading corner, the kitchen counter cleared, a tidy basket by the door, which brings you visual calm and therefore mental calm for you. If you're bodily kinesthetic or movement mom, if you learn and energize through movement, move every single morning. A 10-minute walk, a stretch routine, dancing with your toddler. The motion unclogs your mind. If you're a musical or rhythmic mom, the sound shifts your mood, which means you need to use daily sound cues. A morning playlist for focus, worship music during chores, a soothing bedtime song routine, because rhythm becomes your regulation. If you're an interpersonal, aka a people connector mom, if you come alive through others, then schedule micro connections. One check-in with a friend, a coffee with another mom, a library play date, because your spark grows through shared energy. If you are an interpersonal, aka deep thinker mom, if God wired you inwardly, then protect pockets of silence. A quiet shower, a 5-minute reflection after bedtime, a prayer walk alone. Your clarity will grow in stillness. And then if you are a naturalistic, aka an outdoors mom, if nature regulates your nervous system, then step outside daily. Morning fresh air, afternoon yard play, an evening walk. Creation is your reset button. So your spark isn't random. Your spark is a reflection of how God wired you. That's why we need to pay attention to, where's my spark at? Is it low? Is it high? Where is it? Because we all know that being mothers, we sometimes let that spark kind of die. I don't want to call it die because then it can't be relived, but kind of falls asleep. And we've seen it everywhere where like, get your spark back, get your spark back. But sometimes it is pretty hard to get your spark back as a mother because there's so many different things that we have to do. So it's just very important to always keep the finger on the pulse and check, where is my spark at? Because once that spark really is asleep, it's difficult. It's difficult. And like I said earlier, the house will truly feel it. So when a mother returns to her wiring, the way that you are created, then your mind will be cleared. Your energy will return. Your creativity will come back, and your identity will be strengthened. And remember, motherhood didn't take your spark. Misalignment did. Being overwhelmed did. But motherhood in itself didn't necessarily take that spark away. It is up to us to ignite that spark again. And I truly believe that you can get it back. And remember, if you're not really quite sure where you fit in those intelligences, I did make a workbook called The Calling Code, talking about your intelligences, but also your archetype as a mother. I have intertwined some scripture in there as well, because I truly believe that God has created you for a purpose. And God has created you with the most amazing abilities within you. They're already there. And if you don't really feel that they're there, then they may be buried. And let's try to really find your abilities and your spark and your beautiful mind that you have that is so special. Let's find it again and let's ignite it. Motherhood becomes beautiful again when your life matches your design by God. You're not behind. You're just coming back home to yourself, perhaps even better.